everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Successful Woman's Mindset. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen. I am co-founder of Everyday Women TV, as well as Women Supporting Women Professionals and Entrepreneurs, our Facebook group with 13,000 strong. I am a commercial real estate broker, a business coach, and I love professional speaking, where I get to help in corporate training. One of my favorite things to do on this show is spotlight women that are doing what they love every day and making a difference. So today I am so excited to have Linda Bruns with me. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you, Galit. It's such an honor to be on your show. It just, you are a light in the world. And so thank you for having me on.
I swear I'm not sending a Linda a check after this for saying that, really, really honestly.
Nope.
But I love
needed. It's love reciprocated.
Thank you. One of my favorite things with the women, and I'm going to talk about Linda in a second a little bit and have her share more, is that many of us have never met in person. We've built this online community of women supporting women from all over the world. And Linda is one of those people. She had me on her show, was just introduced to me by someone she knew. And there's this cycle where we just keep introducing each other. And it's one of my favorite things. So thank you for agreeing to be on and to share your wisdom today. I'm excited about the topic. We're going to be talking about building courage. Yeah. But before we do that, let's share with everybody a little bit more about you, that you're founder and chief inspirer of Women Have Needs Too, which I'll let you talk about that. A company designed to inspire and empower women to live their fullest lives. And throughout your life, you have dedicated yourself to empowering women, guiding and consulting and inspiring them to live their happiest life. What great words. Fullest life and happiest life. Your mission is to remind each woman that they are a winner. You can watch her in her current online telecast, Women Have Needs Too, which we just talked about, that on WHNT TV. One of the things that Linda is currently working on, which is new and exciting and getting ready to launch, is the Mission Accelerator, her one-on-one coaching program designed to help women focus on their mission by growing past their fears, gaining clarity, and learning the art of communication with themselves and others. I love that. And you also have an anthology that you're working on right now called The Power of Wisdom Before Me. Is that the title, or are we still deciding?
You know, it's the working title, and I've had such great response with it that I think it's going to stick. I love
it. I love it. When you say The Power of Wisdom Before Me, it's so clear.
Yeah.
Of what your authors are going to be covering.
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful book.
I'm so excited for you. Anthologies are so much fun. So let's jump right into your topic. Building courage. You didn't even hesitate when I said, what do you want to talk today about? Talk to us a little bit about how you built your courage.
Oh gosh, I was so fortunate to grow up building my courage, because I have a father. He's 89 years old, and he is still playing pickleball just about every day. Not every single day, but just about every day. But he does ride his bike every day, and he walks every day. And on top of that, plays pickleball almost every day. And he would take us to these rapids nearby our house in the area that we live in. And he would teach us as little kids. I was the youngest of three. And so I got to watch my older brother and sister go through and learn how to cross the rapids. So of course, when I got old enough to get on and put my toe in the water, and have my dad hold my hand and help me along the way and teach me how to feel for the rocks. And I use this as an analogy in the book that I'm writing, because that's similar to what we have to do when we start to accomplish a goal. We have to feel the waters. We have to put our toes in the water and feel it. First of all, we have to have the courage to get off the bank, get our butts off the bank that we have this pretty little picnic on, and get our toes in the water. Take our shoes off, get our toes in the water, and then we start the process of learning how to maneuver each of those pebbles and the big rocks and the slippery rocks and the faster currents. And I grew up with a father who helped me build my courage as a little girl. Another thing that we did is we always played games. As a family, we are known in our large family, we are the family that is the game players. And one of the games, and I swear by this to this day, if you have a fear of public speaking, get the game charades integrated into your social activities, because the game of charades, it teaches you get out of that comfort zone. And one of the things I talk about in my book also is you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and we have to become uncomfortable with being comfortable, because when we master both of those, then fear cannot get in the way. And the thing is that you cannot have faith and fear. You can't have faith and fear, because I put faith up here and I put fear down here on purpose, because with faith, you will rise to those heights that you want to. With fear, you're going to stay down here. You're going to stay there on the bank, on that lower bank, where you're not going to ever cross those rapids. You're never going to get to the other side and see the accomplishment. You'll be able to look to the other side and say, oh, that's where I came from. I remember being on that other side of the bank and thinking, I don't want to take off my shoes. But when you practice untying your shoes first, taking off your shoes second, getting your toe in the water, if you practice each of those steps and help build that courage, one little increment at a time, one step at a time, one pebble at a time, one big rock at a time, then you will learn to get across that little creek or the big creek.
Sure. One of my favorite sayings that I use often is very similar, where I say change only happens in the uncomfortable. So I love that you use that. I think that when we use examples such as the rapids and how you become really good at rapids and an expert at rapids, or just safe so you don't flip over, it really is such an important piece, because it gives people that are watching and listening an opportunity to take something that they can actually visually see. Yeah. And I'm such a visual person, Linda, that for me, it's I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. I took the family to Colorado last July and we did rapids. Yes. And I hadn't really been on many, and I chose the easier rapids because I was with my parents and my niece and nephew, and then my kids and a few of the others chose the more challenging ones. And it was so much fun. And I can see that. I can totally see where you have to learn the process and take the steps. So I love that built your courage. You sound like you have a wonderful father, just like me.
Oh, he's amazing.
It makes life so nice when you have amazing parents.
Yeah.
Let's share with those listening and watching today some logical steps that we can give them associated with that example.
Absolutely.
In our everyday life, with how they can build their courage.
Well, I recommend taking those little steps. So first of all, you have to figure out where your comfort zone is and what it's going to take to get out of that comfort zone. What is outside of that comfort zone? And what we're doing is we're not getting out of our comfort zone so much. It feels like it, but what we're doing is we're actually increasing our comfort zone. So your comfort zone becomes larger. And, I may have a comfort zone like this, or I might have a comfort zone like this. So I'll put it up like this. So each of our comfort zones are different. Mine is probably, going off the page. So when you figure out what's out here that you're afraid to get into, what are those steps that you need to take to get to that point? You need to write them down, and you need to, I would say, keep it small.
Mm-hmm.
What are 3 things that I can work on right now? And they have to be specific. And I recommend, it's like a muscle. When you're working out in the gym, you can't work out once a month and expect to have a pattern and to expect results, right? You have to be consistent with what you're trying to accomplish. So if you're taking those little baby steps and you do those little baby steps every day, let's just say you do it for a week. Next week, those baby steps seem like, what was I so afraid of? Why did I not do that, a year ago or 10 years ago? I could tell you right now, I sat on my business idea since 2012. It took me until 2020 to actually say, when all objections in my mind were gone. And that's the thing, is we are our only limitation. We set our limitations. Nobody else sets our limitations for us.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things I also speak about, is eliminating the limitations.
So let's stop, because we're going on so many different topics.
Yes.
I want to stop one at a time. So first of all, let's talk about building courage.
Yes.
The overwhelm is really the thing that stops most people. And when you go through and you break down the steps like that, what you're doing is you're helping those that are listening and watching to not get overwhelmed. Because what happens is we come up with an idea and it feels like such a big idea and we get overwhelmed and we stop. So I want to go back to that for a second. So those that are listening, really make a point to write down this idea that Linda said, that to build courage, you need to take baby steps and you need to just focus on one thing at a time. So take that big idea, break it down into little steps. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to. Well, reach out to somebody like Linda, or reach out to a mentor that knows how to do the things you don't know how to do. Now, the next thing you said is your limitations are, which I say all the time, it's one of my favorite quotes, that your limitations are your biggest obstacle. I just had a speaking event last week, and that was one of the main things that I said. And when in the PowerPoint it said, your biggest limitation is you. So let's talk next about how those that are watching can get over, again, in small ways, their own limitation, which is them.
Yeah. So I'm going to tie that into what you said about overwhelm.
Yes.
Because what overwhelm is not having clarity. So when you get the clarity, how you get the clarity is actually, I highly recommend mind mapping, because mind mapping will get it all out there. And guess what? You can start erasing. You don't like it? Erase it. If it's not fitting in to the plan, erase it. But you can put this mind map out there, and maybe you're trying to do too much. I know I am very guilty of, getting, bright, shiny object squirrel, so I actually have to contain myself. I have to reel it in myself. So when you have clarity, and the way to get over the overwhelm is get that clarity, and again, make that list, get the mind map out, start mind mapping, and figure out everything, because a mind map kind of looks like this, right? As a visual, it kind of looks like this.
Let's talk about that for a minute. For those of us that do not know what mind mapping is, let's give everybody just a minute or two of what that is, because I love that idea and I know it really works.
Yeah. So what a mind map is you have this central thing. It's your idea. It's your, let's just say it's your mission, since my program is the Mission Accelerator.
Let's just use, I want to write a book.
I want to write a book. Okay. What is the topic of the book? Who is it going to help? What is your mission for the book? Then you want to get your chapter titles. What are your chapter titles about? And that's your TOC, your table of contents. You're going to get your TOC.
Yeah.
So what are those? What's that TOC? And then from there, you take each chapter and you write, okay, what are the 3 ideas from that chapter? And then what are the 3 ideas from the next chapter? So now, like I said, okay, so there's your 10 chapters, right? There's your mind map, right? Yeah. This is your central, this is your topic, this is your title of the book. These are all the chapters. Now you've got something to work with.
Yes, and Google mind mapping, it'll show you a nice visual of what they look like with the boxes and the lines. But what something like this does, when you map it out in bubbles or lines is it really breaks it down and takes away the overwhelm. So I love, love, love that you said that. My next thing that I would love to do, Linda, is I would love for you to tell everybody a little bit about how they can work with you, how they can find you, where they can find you, and so on.
Absolutely. Well, you can visit my website at womenhaveneeds2.com. That's womenhaveneeds2.com. You can call me directly. I am a transparent, open, ready to have your call, 813-833-2872, or you can email me at linda@womenhaveneeds2. My Mission Accelerator program will help you. I'm going to help you get from point A to point B or to point Z. And sometimes B changes, right? And that's why we go to C plan, because then you realize you start getting into B and you're like, this isn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be, or this isn't really what I'm made of. You know, I take people back to their childhood dreams and I say, what is it that you wanted to do when you were a child? I remember when I was a child, I used to watch TV shows. I used to watch talk shows. And I remember thinking, I want to have my own talk show one day. I'm doing it.
Yeah. And you know, it's so interesting because people say that all the time. And some of it works for some of us and some of it doesn't.
Right.
I changed what I wanted to do probably 30 times before I went to college. But when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a dancer and a singer.
We all did. We all did.
So yeah, I never had like this, everything I do today, Linda, I never thought once about when I was a kid. Even in college, I never thought of.
Right.
So it's fun how for some of us, it's like, what did you want to do when you were a kid? Some of that still, and for some of us, it's totally different.
It's so true. And I just did a live about that too, because not being an astronaut is not for everybody. Being a surgeon is not for everybody. That may have been what you wanted to do when you were 3 years old, but it's not for everybody. You know, things change from the time we're 3 or 8.
I never imagined I'd be doing what I do.
Yeah.
I never thought about it my entire 40 years of living, and then your purpose shows up later in life. So what's really interesting is some of us have known, like my youngest has known since 7 years old, I want to be in the medical field, and starting college in the fall to be a nurse. Like it was just known. Some people get their purpose and passion real early, and some people like me, don't get me wrong, in some shape or form, I lived my purpose and passion helping others. But I had no clue that I was going to do this until I was 41 years old. Yeah. So I'm going to be 50 this year.
I'm going to be 59 really soon, like 12 days. And the thing is that I want to leave with a quote. Sure. How much time do we have?
We're good. We're ready to wrap up. Go for it.
I want to leave with a quote. And the quote is this, and I can't, Abraham Lincoln, the best way to predict your future is to create it. And so that's what I want to help each woman I meet that is trying to figure out what their future is to help them create that future.
I love that. That is a beautiful quote. What a great way to end, building your courage. I love that, building courage. All of you that are watching today, excuse me, thank you so much, Linda, for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing your story of building a courage and being so blessed from such a young age for that. Those of you that are watching that didn't have that, Linda and I have been very blessed with amazing parents. Please recognize that you can build your courage at any time. You can stand up and you can stand in your power and you can make a choice and you can find amazing women to uplift you, empower you, support you, and watch you and help you, because it's never, ever, ever too late to find your purpose, your passion, and build your courage. So thank you, Linda, for watching.
Thank you
on my show. And those of you that are watching and listening, I know some of you are listening through my podcast as well. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen. I appreciate you. I appreciate you continuing to support Everyday Woman TV, as well as my own purpose and passion, which is showing women how to get to 7 figures in their business. So until next time, bye, everybody.
Thank you.